Ladies and gentlemen, we will go ahead and call this meeting to order. Today is September 14, 2021. This is the 1:30 p.m. meeting of the Laughlin Town Advisory Board. I have some cursory information to read into the record, so if you just bear with me for a moment. Items on the agenda for today may be taken out of order, and the board may combine two or more agenda items for consideration. The board may remove an item from the agenda or delay discussion relating to any item at any time. No action may be taken on any matter not listed on today's posted agenda. All planning and zoning matters heard at this meeting are forwarded to the Board of County Commissioners Zoning Commission, otherwise known as the BCC, or the Clark County Planning Commission, otherwise known as the PC, for final action. Please take a moment to turn off or mute cell phones or other electronic devices, myself included. Okay. And if there's any private conversations, please go ahead and take them outside of this room. Within 48 hours, advance request a sign language interpreter or other reasonable efforts to assist and accommodate persons with physical disabilities may be made available by calling 702-455-3530 TDD at 702-385-7486 or Relay Nevada toll-free at 800-326-6868. Supporting material provided to the board members for this meeting may be requested from Tammy Harris, our secretary, at 702-298-0828. Supporting material is or will be available at the Clark County website. It's also at the back of the room there if you happen to pick up anything on your way in. And also on our website at clarkcountynv.gov/Laughlin TAB. Your board before you today is myself, Kathy Oakes, Chair, Kathleen Haas to my right, our Vice Chair, Fred Doughton, and Pamela Walker. Herm Walker is excused absence for today. So our secretary is Tammy Harris to my left, and she can be reached at 702-298-0828. Her email address is Tammy, TAMMY .HARRIS at clarkcountynv.gov. Our county liaison that we're grateful for is Mark Moskowitz. He can also be reached at this location at 702-298-0828, and also his other number is 702-455-6173. His email is mark.moskowitz, MOSKOWITZ at clarkcountynv.gov. So we've gone ahead and called this meeting to order. If I can please have you stand for our invocation given by Pastor Doug Wesley, and then Pamela Walker will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
45 years ago, I went to a Bible college. It was actually a Bible Institute of Los Angeles. At the time, people were saying, what's this Jewish boy from Huntington Beach doing going to a Bible college? And my grandfather used to kind of mock me for doing it. He'd say, I'd come up from school and he'd say, how was the preacher factory today? Well, it wasn't a preacher factory, it was a Bible Institute. Matter of fact, I learned the Pentateuch and the law. Did you know there are more than 10 commandments? There's actually 613 of them. Anyway, when I studied back then, and I think what amazed me the most was the fact that God is good. Not only is he good, he's love. More so than I think this world could contain, really. The love he has for us, the love he has for each one of you, is more than you could even possibly imagine. Somebody might say, well, then why is there so much bad in the world? Well, that's a discussion for another time. It's easily answered. It's a discussion for another time. But for today, let's consider the fact that he does love us eternally and does care about us eternally. Father, we ask you now that you would look over all of Laughlin and the people that are here, people that have come here to live, people that come here to enjoy each other. We thank you so much for the wonderful police department that you've given us. We thank you so much for the fire department you've given us, the school teachers that we have here, the board that we have here, the administration, the office here. All these people are high-quality people that we're very fortunate to have and we're very grateful for. And then there's the citizens, people that are all care about each other, concerned for each other, enjoy each other's company. Please continue to bless us and look over all of those who are the ones who take care of us, the first responders and the school teachers and the people that are managing us. Give them the wisdom they need, the patience they need, and the kindness they need to do an excellent job. We thank you and we bless you. In the name of Yeshua Yamashiach, Jesus, amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. I'll go ahead and commence with a roll call. Pamela Walker.
Here.
Here. Kathleen Haas.
Here.
Here. Fred Doughton.
Here.
Myself, Kathy Oakes. So we have 4 present, and we do have a quorum. And then for general housekeeping, I'll go ahead and read this into the minutes. Public comment is what we'll be having next, and that's a period devoted to comments by the general public about items on this agenda that we have before us today. No discussion, action, or vote may be taken on the agenda item. You're going to be afforded the opportunity to speak on individual public hearing items as they are presented. If you wish to speak to the board about items within its jurisdiction but not on today's agenda, you must wait until the comments by the general public period listed at the end of today's agenda. Comments are limited at that time to 3 minutes, and we ask that you, that time and at this time, that you step up to the podium, state your name and address, and spell your last name for the record. These meetings are recorded, and they're also televised, so it's easier for our secretary to get your last name if you spell it for us. If any member of the board wishes to extend the length of a presentation, it can be done by the chair or by the board by majority vote. So our first item that, is there anyone that wishes to speak to anything that does appear on today's agenda? Okay. Hearing none from the public, I'll go ahead and move to item number 3, which is an approval of minutes for our August 10th, 2021 meeting.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We have approval of our minutes. And then approval of our agenda as set forth today for September 14th, 2021. Hold, combine, or delete any items. So I'll go ahead. Do I have a motion
So
to?
moved.
I have a motion.
Second.
And a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We accept our agenda for today. Item number 1 on informational. Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you. Okay. Receive a report and updates from South County Liaison Mark Moskowitz.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to announce that Commissioner Michael Naft will be having Laughlin office hours in 2 weeks on Tuesday, September 28th, from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Spirit Mountain Community Activity Center. The flyer is up on the screen there. We also have some flyers in the back. Please email and call if you have any questions. This will be a great opportunity to have the residents, citizens, business owners come and speak with the commissioner about the county and any other questions. So the commissioner is very excited to be able to have this event, and we look forward to it. So that'll be in 2 weeks.
In the 28th at
Yep.
our Spirit Mountain. Great.
Yep.
Look forward to it. Okay. And then we'll move forward to item number 2 on today's agenda. Receive a report from Lieutenant Rogers, Metro Police regarding activity and statistics for the past month and other crime area concerns. Hello.
Hi, Sergeant Gino Briscoe, standing in for Lieutenant Rogers. He had to be absent today of the Laughlin substation. Calls for service, August 2021, we had 317, compared to last year's, which is 370. So that's a pretty good reduction of 14%. Not sure why, maybe people are out here vacationing more and they're out in public and don't know. Hard to say why the reduction. July of 2021, we had 358. Calls for service for Searchlight, we had 31, August 2021. And then August 2020, we had 28. So it's an increase of three calls for service. In July, we had 20 up in Searchlight. Traffic citations, we wrote 224 citations down here in the Laughlin jurisdiction and 25 in Searchlight. We had 4 DUI arrests down here in Laughlin, none in Searchlight. And as far as battery domestic violence has occurred, we had 6 arrests, no juvenile arrests in that situation. And the overall bookings in Laughlin, 35, and Searchlight, we arrested 2 people, brought them down and booked them in. Pretty much that's it.
Any questions from the board?
No, I do want to make a comment. As you know, we had the fatality there at Bruce Woodbury and
Yes, ma'am.
Needles Highway. I have noticed that you guys are up there more, so I do appreciate that someone's at that area, especially after we just lost them.
Yes,
due to
ma'am.
that
Thank you.
accident there.
I'd like to make a comment.
Please.
I believe that intersection is probably one of the most dangerous ones in town. Because if you're coming up the hill and you're waiting for a car, it's very difficult to see which lane they're in.
That is correct. There are 2 lanes that go one straight, totally goes northbound. The other one makes that eastbound turn. I believe that Mr. Bilbray and some other factions of the county are working on improving that area, but that's still under works.
Okay.
Yeah, I know we'd visited, you ran Public Works after me and stuff as well, and I know that for it to change, it has to undergo a traffic study for it to end up being a 4-way stop. And so I think that's the next logical progression. But before that could happen, it would have to go back through Public Works and a traffic study for survey.
One of the other things about that, if you're making a left turn and the road's wet, the road is sloped so that
Ground, yeah.
I've spun out a couple times.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay. Thank you, Sergeant.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and item number 3 is to receive a report from, there you are, Clark County Fire Department regarding calls for service during the past month and fire prevention issues.
Richard Reed, Battalion Chief, Clark County Fire Department. So calls for service for August, I give you the total rather than each station, but it's 278 compared to 281, so not much change from the previous year. However, we are up 15% on the year for total calls. Now, you know, last year our call volume dropped at a point. So it's been month to month, we've been actually increasing on from even the previous year. So things haven't changed that much. As far as what's going on with the fire department, we're working on updating the rescue equipment. One of the guys is assigned and is looking for grants and stuff, trying to, I don't know if you know, but our boats are outdated, or they're trying to get jet skis. The river's been an issue for us for our tech program and all of that stuff, trying to get the equipment the guys need to actually perform out there on that river when you get heavy tourism on there. So they've been working hard on that one. We did move the truck down here. It's been intermittent, the use of it. We've used it for a couple of different things, so it's been convenient. It's been nice to have it, but we man it with the same crew back and forth. Other than that, those are the kind of things that we've been concentrating on, unless you have any questions for me.
One of the things that I just wanted to pause for a moment and ask Mr. Moskowitz, if they're going for grants and things that would be equipment that would help with like swift water rescue and stuff on the water, is there anything that we can do in this office and the board just to help them endorse? I know frequently in the grant writing procedures, if you have letters of endorsement, that often helps, that go forward. So if that's something that, if you are in the process of writing grants, that will be things that will help in the service this little community, then definitely I would think if you contacted.
Yeah, please, contact our office. And
I'll let them know. Ryan Glassford is the
Okay.
battalion chief that has been asked to, and he's done some of that before, so he
Grant
knows the
writing.
process. So they've been determining what product they want to replace it because, as you know, the ones we got are real old and they don't really fit the river. So they've been researching that, and first they put that forth and then they work on the grants to see how much they want. But he's in that process. They've been working on it for months.
And I
So-
would think that this board would certainly endorse and,
Okay.
and, recommend that.
I'll pass that
Going
on to
forward.
him and let him know.
Yes, please.
All right, thank you. Any other questions?
All right.
Thank you. Okay. Item number 4 is Nevada State Treasurer presentation regarding the state's plans to utilize fiscal recovery funds from the American Rescue Plan Act.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. How are you? Good. My name is Zach Conine. I'm your Nevada State Treasurer, and I'm here today on behalf of the Governor, legislative leadership, and our office to talk about the state's plan for the American Rescue Plan dollars and a process we're calling the Every Nevadan Recovery Tour. Ms. Secretary, I think, is that how we're... Okay, perfect. Thank you. So we find ourselves with an unprecedented opportunity to help build the Nevada we deserve. Towards the end of the legislative session, something called the American Rescue Plan was passed, and that brought more than $6.7 billion into the state of Nevada in a number of different buckets. And so the governor and I and legislative leadership put together something called the Every Nevadan Recovery Framework. The goal there is to create a process that would be both effective, transparent, and collaborative. Ma'am? Thank you. Now, as of August 10th, and this keeps changing as we keep finding more and more programs, we've identified 105 different programs. We know about funding for about 68 or 69 right now, and this is a good breakdown. This is a little small on the screen, but I can walk through it. In those 105 buckets, the largest and the one I'm sure you've heard about is the $2.7 billion that we were wired on June 4th at the state level. That's that bottom red piece of business. Over at 9 o'clock, you see the local general aid, subject to substantially the same rules as at 2.7. It's about 1.04, broken between Nevada's counties, cities, and non-entitlement units. But it's the other buckets, the other 2.9 billion, going from about 1030 over to about 330, that speak to some of the opportunities. So that's 103 different buckets. Think about them like government gift cards, ranging from $60,000 or so for elder abuse prevention to $1.1 billion in K through 12 education dollars. And our goal here is to make sure that we spend every single dollar that they're sending to us. Next slide, please. Now, the aid falls into a couple of different buckets. And again, we're just trying to kind of set expectations here about how this all works. This doesn't include the money that went directly to Nevadans. So it doesn't include the $3.7 billion or so of direct stimulus payments, the FPUC, which was federal pandemic unemployment compensation, that additional $300 a week that expired earlier this month. It doesn't include the money that went to buy down exchange premiums for folks who are buying insurance through the exchange. And it doesn't include the child household tax credits, which are helping hundreds of thousands of families in southern Nevada get out of poverty. This is just money that's going to the government that has some level of control over. It includes non-discretionary aid. This is aid that goes into certain programs, and we can either choose to accept it or not, but we don't have any real control over what it does. Things like plus-ups on WIC. It includes quasi-discretionary aid. Rental assistance is a good example of this. We had some decisions to make at the state and county level about how we were going to spend rental assistance. For instance, making the decision that it would go to landlords directly, right, as opposed to flowing through the tenant to the landlord. But we had to spend it on rental assistance. And then there's the third bucket, discretionary aid, which is pretty flexible. Now, it's still government, so it's not super flexible, but it's more flexible than the other types. Next slide, please, Matt. So I mentioned before the Every Nevadan Recovery Framework, which you can find at nevadarecovers.com. And our goal in that document, and it's only about 7 or 8 pages, so I encourage everybody to read it, was to set up a sandbox focused on 4 bands of prioritization, starting with the individual, moving out to the family and community, then to the economy, and then to systemic changes. And this is the same sort of balancing act that they're sorting out in Clark County, that you're sorting out here, that everywhere is sorting out, which is how do you deal with the immediate needs while at the same time dealing with the systemic problems, right? How do you both put out a fire and make sure that your fire department is stronger for the next time around, or that you have sprinklers installed, right? How do you do both at the same time? Next slide, please. And to do that, we created 7 priorities for strategic enhancement. And I won't go through all of those, but if you read them, you'll see that we have a relatively broad sandbox in which to play in. Now, these priorities were also codified and put into statute through SB 461, which we colloquially refer to as the waterfall bill, that allowed us the flexibility to use these dollars in between legislative sessions, subject to legislative approval, of course, through the Interim Finance Committee, in order to support these needs. Next slide, please. Okay, so how do you do that? How do you make decisions on how you're going to spend $6.7 billion of primarily one-time money, where the direction from the federal government is one of intentionality, right? Well, the governor said it best. He said, spending is easy, investing is hard. And that's why we're out here. So step one, and I am the state's chief investment officer. We manage about $34 billion in different buckets. So we do this kind of a bit. First step is to pull in data. And that's the statewide listening tour. So we're in the middle of a 75-day, 75-event listening tour. We're on day approximately 40, and this is event, I believe, 66. So we'll probably exceed our 75-event target, as I mentioned this morning when we were over at the American Legion. I almost said VFW, the American Legion this morning. But we're getting in information as much as we can because we want to make sure that that these decisions are powered by Nevadans. Step two, after we pull in all that information, is we create a comprehensive roadmap. And here's really where the rubber meets the road, making sure that this is effective. This is both connecting ideas that come in through NevadaRecovers.com with buckets of money, with actual plans. So how do we make sure that things are eligible under that funding? How do we make sure that anything we're building can be sustainable, right, as opposed to creating something that will go away in the short term? And then step three, of course, is the actual work itself. Next slide, please. So in the why, right? Why go through this process? One, it informs spending priorities by hearing from those who have been hit hardest by the pandemic. That is not just the right thing to do, it's also the direction from the federal treasury and from the White House when we make a determination on how to spend it. It has to be data-driven. Bless you. It has to be data-driven through information that we pull through this process. Number two, it allows the local governments in the state to coordinate, which avoids duplication of effort and ensures that every dollar is spent to its best. Historically, the state, the counties, they coordinate okay. They don't coordinate extremely well, right? And some of that's just the nature of government. We're relatively siloed. Every government is relatively siloed. And so this process is intended to break down those silos and make sure we can be as effective as possible. There are also some realities at play here. We don't want 17 different countywide plans to fix broadband around the state. That's an ineffective use of time and money. We should have one plan that fixes broadband that is informed by the needs of 17 counties. On the same front, the state's not going to get into the business of providing fire or police services at the local level, right? So some of those decisions are going to be made at the county level. The state can support them. Some of those decisions are going to be made at the state level, and the county can benefit from them. And number three, it provides us an opportunity to capture ideas and issues that may be ineligible under guidance, but eligible for funding through other programs. And I can't stress this enough. The state historically has been unprepared for large influxes of capital. It's just not something we're usually ready for. Typically, large influxes of capital come after a period of economic pullback, right? Whether it's the Great Recession or post 9/11. And in that time, the thing that the state does is we focus on the immediate needs and stop the long-term planning. Right? We let those people go because we're more concerned with how we get through the next couple of weeks than we are with what we're going to do in 10 years. Then when the recovery dollars come, whether it's ARA or dollars that came after 9/11 or now, we find ourselves in a place where we don't have a good list, not just of things that could be built, but of things that should be built, right? Of ideas that could be made into reality. And so what we're trying to do here is create a resource list, a statewide resource list that speaks to here are the needs of different communities. Because some of the dollars may be eligible under ARPA. Some won't. But we also have $3 billion coming into the state if the infrastructure bill passes as written, somewhere between $3 and $9 billion through the reconciliation bill, depending on how that all shakes out. And it's Washington, so we make no promises. But we want to be ready for it if it shows up. It also gives the legislature a fantastic opportunity to pull in information through this process that can inform future decisions. Couple of things to remember. We need your input. So every idea that gets funded through this process at the state level goes through nevadarecovers.com. And on nevadarecovers.com, you can do three things. You can request to either go to a future event or for us to host an event for you. You can submit a survey, which will help prioritize, right? I care about education. Gosh, job retraining is the most important thing to me. What about state parks? Allows you to tell us what's important to you. And finally, there's a place where you can say, submit an idea. And in submitting an idea, you have an opportunity to tell the government directly, here's what I need, here's how I would fix it. Here's a problem in my community, here's the solution, right? Now, some of those ideas come in and they're really baked. They come from 501c3 partners and they say, gosh, I provide this sort of service, and if for every $20,000 I can build another affordable housing unit, a micro unit somewhere, right? And I've got the land for it. You've got other ones that come in and they say, I'm in the business of food support, and if I had a refrigerated truck, I could serve this many more square miles, and wouldn't that be great? And then we get some ideas that are simply needs for residents in the communities. I don't want to have to go to Bullhead City for medical care. I don't have access to broadband. I can't get to work, right? Those ideas don't have solutions attached to them, but in step two, that phase two that I spoke to earlier, we're going to be able to take those ideas and make them into plans. So the biggest ask that we have for you all is to go to nevadarecovers.com and tell us what Laughlin needs, right? And for everybody else who's listening or watching or might watch later, to go to nevadarecovers.com and tell us what you need. Because if we have that information, we can connect it to a bucket of capital. We can figure out what the most effective thing is for Nevadans statewide using both our teams and experts from all around the state. But the one thing that we can't do is we can't know what Laughlin needs unless you tell us. That's the request. A couple other things. Number two, don't self-censor. The guidance, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier, the guidance is overly complicated. That $2.7 billion comes with 150 pages of interim final rule, which by definition isn't the final rule, has 40 pages of FAQs that have been amended 13 times now, since they were originally released in the middle of May, right? This is government at its best. It is too complicated for anyone to get their hands around. Don't worry about that. Just tell us what you need. And then, of course, share the message. And as always, ask questions. If we can help, we are here to help. Again, I'm Zach Conine. I'm your state treasurer, but I appreciate you all taking the time to talk about this. Happy to take any questions if that can be helpful.
Okay, I'll go ahead and open to the board if you have any questions of him. It's a pretty thorough presentation.
It was very informative. I do encourage everyone to go to NevadaRecovers.com, fill that out, because that's how we're going to bring something to Laughlin.
I think from the government standpoint of the Clark County offices, so I think going and maybe compiling something from here. I can also see application from our chamber, definitely, representing the business community and also a lot of the volunteers and stuff from the Legion, from Elks, everything like that. So I can definitely see its application. And before this board here and in this audience, you have a large representation of the business and government community. So I appreciate, you coming, letting us know that it's an information forum and, we can contribute to it because definitely boots on the ground is going to give you a better idea of what needs are out there and needs that were unmet with other, aid packages. Okay. All right. Any other questions from the audience? Okay. I encourage everybody, these packets are at the back of the room if you didn't get one. I think you can certainly see the need to have one and have that information. And I'd like to thank you for your time for coming out to let us know about this because I was not aware, and I think we all would like to be involved in that process.
My first job in Nevada was in Laughlin, so any chance to come back, I will take.
Yeah,
Thanks so much, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank
much. And then we'll move forward with the next item, which is to receive a report from Will Smith, Clark County Water Reclamation District, regarding the status of the wastewater system.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and elected board members. Will Smith, Clark County Water Reclamation District, the Laughlin facility. The statistics for August 2021. Laughlin Water Reclamation Center treated an average of 1.78 million gallons a day, producing clean water to return to the Colorado River. Last year, this time, August 2020, we had an average of 1.98 million gallons a day versus the 1.78 we got this year, a difference of 200,000 gallons per day from last year at this time. Sewer service complaints, we had none. Odor complaints, we had none. Call before you dig tickets, we had 11 received for the August 2021. And attached to the report, there is a influent flow comparison chart. If there's any questions,
Any questions from the board? I've seen you. Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. No questions. Thank you very much. And Jason Bailey is not with us today from the Big Bend Water District regarding the status of the water system. Do we have a report? Did he give us a report?
Just the chart.
Just the chart. Okay, so the chart is available if anyone has any questions at the back of the room. And receive a report from Parks and Recreation regarding the status of programs and upcoming activities. Hello.
Hello, how's everybody doing? My name is Shelley Galata from Parks and Recreation. For the month of August at the Spirit Mountain Community Center, we held 13 programs with about 285 visits, which is great. We're increasing our visits. Just a reminder, masks are required for all Parks and Recreation activities and senior center activities. We're going to be starting a cornhole league, thank you. Starting on Tuesdays, 6 to 8 p.m. at the Spirit Mountain Activity Center. This is going to begin September the 28th and will end November 30th. The cost is $10 per team, maximum 12 teams. If you would like more information, please contact the Spirit Mountain Activity Center. We're in the midst of planning a trunk or treat and a movie in the park for October the 21st at 6 p.m. at the Mountain View Park. If you're interested in being a part of the trunk or treat, please contact us at 702-298-3413 for more information. We're going to be bringing back Medicine on the Move. It will be returning to the Spirit Mountain Activity Center on October the 27th and October 28th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Seniors are welcome to make appointments for annual wellness visits, mammograms, and COVID vaccines. At this time, we're not sure which vaccines will be available. That will be a TBA. But people are more than welcome to call the center, the Spirit Mountain Activity Center, for further information. Does anybody have any questions?
I do.
Please, Pam.
Sure.
For the trunk or treat,
Yes.
you're not gonna do anything for the day of Halloween at all?
No, we decided to do trunk or treat on the 28th.
Well, it says the 21st.
I'm sorry, the 21st. I have Searchlight in my head. I'm sorry, on the 21st, because we wanted to provide something this year, and we wanted to keep it as simple as possible and COVID friendly as possible, so it wouldn't get canceled. So that's why we picked this date, and this is why we added movie in the park along with the trunk or treat. So there just wasn't just one activity going on, so we could kind of get back into our normal programming. And we were concerned with some of the numbers rising, that it would get canceled if we made it even more detailed or actually had it on Halloween. And then if it got canceled on Halloween, then maybe there would have been nothing for people
Right.
to go and do other activities
as
or have
Plan
other
B.
plans. So we wanted to do something to bring back to the community. So we thought this date would be most appropriate.
Okay.
And we would love to go back to the prior activities that we used to do with the school. And so we're hoping 2022, we're going to be back in tune with that because that's our goal, is to get back to doing that kind of a Halloween event for this community.
Yeah, as you know, last year we did it up at the strip mall up there,
Yes.
you know, having everyone distance and, but I'm glad at least we're doing something for the kids.
We are too, and I appreciate the compliment, so thank you very much. We appreciate that, and thank you for asking. We're all hoping we can get back to,
Some semblance of
Yeah.
normal, yeah. One question I was going to ask you, so
Sure.
October 27th and 28th is the Medicine on the Move. At different times throughout the year, and I know I avail myself of these as well, we are having the women's breast ultrasounds. There's a mobile PET scan that has come, to
Okay.
this community. And so I'm wondering if that would be something, I'm not sure, if they're coordinating, but if that would be something to also coordinate with you
Okay.
for the Laughlin residents, because I know I use the services on an annual basis. I have to wait. They send me the notice when they're coming. But if we could maybe coordinate that, with the life scan and the
Okay.
mobile medical, would that be something you could?
Yeah, we can look into it,
maybe
and we'll
work together
touch base with
orchestrating?
Tammy on it too. Absolutely. We'll definitely look into that and see
Okay.
if we're able to coordinate all that together.
Yeah, that
We're
would,
just excited that they're coming back,
Yeah,
so.
no, and
But I
true.
would definitely, you're talking about the Lifeline screening, is that what you're talking
well,
about?
it's the Lifeline screening, but there's also a mobile van
Okay.
that does breast ultrasounds for women,
Okay.
and it's like $250.
Oh,
So
wow,
you don't even
okay.
have to use your insurance, you can just pay for it, or oftentimes it's covered by insurance.
Okay.
And then there also is PET scanning, which is a pre-cancer scanning.
Okay,
And so
fantastic.
they have a mobile PET scan semi-tractor trailer that comes
Okay,
as well.
between Ayla and I, we'll figure out something and we'll touch base with you and let you know at the October meeting if we're able to connect them all this time.
Yeah,
If
it wouldn't
not-
be this year because I believe they've already I know they've already rotated through.
And I know that Life Scan's always looking for locations too, so maybe those other entities are also looking for locations, and we can look into that and get back
Yeah, and just
to you.
have like a regular, it'd be
Yeah.
great if it could be almost like an annual event, something that our residents are aware of and
Yeah.
have.
And
It'd
I
be
can
good
touch
for you
base-
guys and then, of course, great for the community.
Yeah, and I could circle back with Mark too, and we can all make sure we're on the same page about it. That would be a great idea.
Yep, okay, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah, thank you for the suggestion, we appreciate
you.
it. Yeah, any other questions?
Any other questions? No?
Okay,
Thank
thank you
you so
very
much.
much, you're welcome.
Okay. All right. Receive a report from Haley Mayo, there she is, a University of Nevada Cooperative Extension regarding the status of programs and upcoming activities. Hello.
Hi guys. So for extension activities that we have coming up on September 29th from 10:30 to 12:30 at the Laughlin Library, we're going to be hosting a new program that we're kicking off called Ask a Master Gardener. So this past year we've had 7 local community members between Laughlin and Bullhead City become certified master gardeners in the state of Nevada. So they have gone through many, many, many months and hours of horticulture classes to gain knowledge to give to the public. And so we're starting a little series program called Ask a Master Gardener, where it's more of a help desk style versus coming in and listening to whatever be talked about. People can bring in their questions. If they have a tree that looks a little ill, they can take a picture of it, bring it in, and we have people who are very knowledgeable about that, and they can answer your questions about horticulture, general gardening knowledge, what we're doing at the community garden, and all of those sorts of things. So that will be on September 29th from 10:30 to 12:30 at the Laughlin Library. As far as 4-H goes, we had a summer STEM camp back in July, and we had 6 youth attend, which is a really big deal for us down here. That's really good numbers. They had a really great time, and I enjoyed it because my background is in 4-H and youth development, so I got to have a really good time with the youth who attended. The new 4-H year starts on October 1st, so anybody who's ever been interested in 4-H and youth development activities, ages 5 to 19, can register to become a 4-H'er. They can go to the Laughlin Public Schools, private school, homeschool, as long as they're 5 to 19. I'll take them all. If anybody has any questions about 4-H or enrollment, they can email me at hmaio@unr.edu. And lastly, which I think is one of my more exciting things, is that I was approved for use of Nevada's SNAP-Ed grant. So that means that I get to bring SNAP-Ed programming into the classrooms in 2nd and 3rd grade with a program called Healthy Kids, Healthy Schools, and the specific one is Produce Pick of the Month. So every month I'll go into 2nd and 3rd grade at Bennett Elementary, and I will be able to teach the students about different fruits and vegetables every month. They'll have one to focus on, and it's just a really fun and interactive and exciting program that we are all really excited to be bringing to Laughlin youth. So, does anybody have questions?
Any questions from the board? I was just going to say, I would think what the treasurer brought before us would also be something that you would, look into as far as, different funding for different things that you would be interested in for your facility.
Okay,
So,
definitely. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And moving forward to item number 9 is receive a report from Jackie Whalen with the Laughlin Chamber of Commerce regarding current and upcoming business activities in Laughlin. And then after that, she'll represent again for the Laughlin Tourism Commission regarding current and upcoming events for the LTC. Jackie.
Chair, Board, thank you so much for having me. I'm just going to catch you up on the things that are happening more recently. The Community Achievement Awards is in full swing right now. We have 7 judges. They're all off with their binders and making really cool decisions. We had a record number of nominations received this year, primarily in the educators category, because we had so many teachers step up to the plate and learn new, creative, inventive ways to teach our children, even during a pandemic. They have 2 weeks to look over the nominations and come back to their judging pals and come up with the final 4. And then it goes on from there into interviews for 2 full days and then come up with a finalist. It is going to be a no visit event again up at Laughlin Ranch. So every category will have a half an hour, so they'll be able to pull into the porte-cochere. They'll get treated like royalty and brought into a room, and it will all be live streamed. So we'll give you more of that information later. We have a nice big ribbon cutting for an expansion project in Fort Mojave for one of our members, and that's going to be a nice, exciting event tonight. And we're very happy to see these people expand their businesses. If you didn't know, Community Achievement Awards, is why I brought that around, is Community Achievement Awards got rid of the green business category. Not as much emphasis is put on green business and the reduction in donations to the carbon footprint. So nobody was being nominated. And if they are doing recycling, nobody cares. They do it in their hotels. They have dumpster divers and all those kind of things. But it doesn't get nominated. So we changed it to business retention and expansion. So those businesses that are have been able to retain their revenue base, retain their employees during a pandemic, and have expanded over the last couple of years are available for nomination in that category. The first networking and educating program that we had on Friday of last month was me. And we told the communities exactly what services we've added to our long list of services, and told them that how they could get a hold of us, how they could become a member, and how they could get additional help. And I talked a lot about, of course, COVID resources for them. Volunteers in Partnership, they're still accepting any applications for volunteers to help to get them through the concert series. We have 5 more that are on this list, and they all need Volunteers in Partnership to do ticket scanning and ushering. As far as membership goes, we're right back up to 300 again at 299. Laughlin is 28% of that base. New members this quarter, 21. So we obviously, people are taking notice of the services that we are giving and appreciating what we've been able to provide them. New members in Laughlin is 5. The compliance partnership between us, Parks and Rec, Nevada Division of Wildlife, NDOW, well, that's what it was, NDOW, BOR, BLM, all of these wonderful agencies have really helped us get through the first event, outdoor event this season, which was Best in the Desert UTV, this last Saturday. Thank you, guys. It is getting smoother, right?
I'm sorry, say that, we didn't hear
I
it.
said, it is getting smoother.
Yeah.
We all came together and talked about the pressures and expectations of each agency, and it's not easy in Nevada. It just really isn't. It's very challenging, and it's not like any other state that I know. So having all of the people on the same page and being able to send an email out and say, did you forget about me? No salutations or greetings, just get it done, right? And we understand each other's demands. And that worked out pretty good. So the last part is the Nevada Recoverers partner. We had the listening tour at the American Legion today. Not a whole lot of people showed up, but we did have a lot of talkers. So it worked out really, really well. Immunize Nevada partner, we are working on more vaccinations. We do have the second dose for the homeless that we did on the 22nd, and we'll be going to them again to give them their second dose. The next ones that are coming up is Nevada Made Marijuana. Those will all be before an event, a public concert event, or they'll be at the LEC or East Center themselves. We'll set up a pop-up vaccination center. No strong arming or anything. You just come up. If you want a shot, you got it. And for somebody who was asking months and months and months ago, NDOT did admit that they didn't put the signs back up after I-11 to directional signs to Laughlin, and I've been able to acquire 2 back, and I'm working on 2 more. So if just give me a little bit of time, hopefully everybody driving Nevada 95, 93, and I-11 will know where we're at. And that's it for chamber.
Great. Anyone have any questions of the chamber? No? Okay. Move to the LTC.
Yes, Best in the Desert went really good this weekend on UTVs. Biggest problem was it was hot, so we didn't have a lot of spectators. The poor drivers it was 109 degrees inside the car. It was about 138. Most of them do not have cooling seats, so they were in a lot of trouble. We had one bad incident. UTV rolled and it caught on fire. The driver did get out, and first responder did get hand burn, but nothing of significant extent that we have to worry about. I think he's going to recover very, very well. The best part was Friday night after the juniors raced. We had the drivers meeting on Friday night, and all these little kids were getting up on the stage, and they were thanking the town of Laughlin and Best in the Desert for bringing such a beautiful event with really good dirt.
We had a lot of that, that's for sure.
And they were really excited that they were here and that they were able to compete, and they thanked us all. They were just the sweetest kids. And they're coming back. Juniors are going to come back every year. So Best in the Desert then is not this weekend, because this weekend is Goo Goo Dolls. The weekend after that will be cars and the big trophy trucks out at the Laughlin event site. Then in November, we had World's Toughest Mudder Challenge, and we have Tough Mudder right after that. World's Toughest Mudder is just what it means. It is a world competition, and they all come in here. ACE is working with us to provide them the tools, the resources they need, like tents and ice chests and lanterns and all those things. It's a 24-hour competition through a lot of really yucky stuff that we wouldn't want to do. So they get to buy the stuff from ACE at a nice reduced price, and when they fly home, they leave it here. We get to distribute it to the underprivileged and to the homeless. So that's a big score for us.
Yep.
Then we have Run Laughlin in December and Snore on December 10th. Townwide concerts coming up. Townwide concerts that are supported by LTC or sponsored by LTC are Toby Keith and Pitbull. The rest of those events are Golden Entertainment sponsored, and you can get your tickets anywhere on one of these websites. I want you to know that last year, the Laughlin Tourism Commission applied for those grants, and they got the digital billboard campaigns through Arizona, California, and Nevada. And then we did the visitor guide distribution of 12,500 guides around the western United States, and a new website that combined chamber tourism and visitor center. So they opened it up for another Nevada Commission of Tourism Travelers Grant or Tourism Grant, and we get an answer on the 17th. I went out for more digital billboards to sell the destination. Hopefully, we can get some more revenue in here by visitors. I can't promise a whole lot about economic development because I'm not finding a whole lot of people that want to invest or create new business, but that will come. We just need to make sure that our economy stays strong, and that's the best way that Laughlin Tourism Commission could do it. Any questions?
Any questions from the board?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And receive a report from Tanya Brown-Worth, Laughlin Library, regarding current and upcoming activities. I don't see her with us today. Did she leave a report at the back of the room? No? Okay. All right, and receive a report from Laughlin School System regarding the status of programs and upcoming activities. No one here today. Announcements of upcoming neighborhood meetings and county or community meetings and events. Anyone? Nope, we already gave, yep, at the beginning. Before us, planning and zoning, we have no items. Item number 7, general business. This is review and finalize FY, which is fiscal year 22 to 23 budget requests, and take public input regarding the budget requests. And this is for possible action. So we have been going round and round with this for some time. I think everyone has it. Of course, I can't find it.
That's this one.
I know I have a copy. Okay. Don't confuse movement with progress here. All right. Okay. So I know we've been working on this for a while, and these were our scores as we went along. Shall I go ahead and read those into the record, Tammy?
You can.
Okay. So for fiscal year 2021 to 2022, which basically in the world of government runs from July 1 of 2021 to June 30th of 2022. So we're already somewhat in the midst of this because I think it got delayed with meetings and stuff like that. So our number one priority that we have is the RGC control room digital upgrade, which will bring this whole process into at least the 90s, I would think. Pretty close. And then we have the RGC meeting room furniture, which I think this is the original furniture to when this place was built, if I'm not mistaken, in 92, 93? Yeah, everything we have is original. Also, the third priority is our Rome Tech building and air conditioning out at Pyramid Park. So that, hopefully in the future we'll be able to do a lease and do some vending and events there. The next item that I think is item number 4 is the crosswalk Las Palmas and Needles Highway. Again, that's going to need a traffic study, but I think that's number 4 on the list. And then we have a tie with item number 5, which is the traffic signal at Bruce Woodbury and Needles. We had the report regarding the fatality. Again, that will be a traffic study. If it fits the requirements at this point and this time, then they will change that. Spirit Mountain electric marquee sign. Also that's tied at 5. Number 6, we have the Heritage Trails host site, which I don't believe that's ever been completed. So this is for the completion of that site. And then number 7, we have the creation of a Laughlin cemetery. Okay. So is there any discussion from the board, or is there any comment from the general public regarding our hierarchical list that we've created? Please, if there is, Mr. Henry, take the podium, state your name and address for the record. Although we know you.
Thank you, board. My name is Bruce Henry, 2004 Mesquite Lane in Laughlin, number 201. And I really think it's, looking at this list, There's a couple of them on here, and I think really the one about the crosswalk at Las Palmas and Needles Highway is long overdue. And thinking back when they built the Family Dollar there, I was surprised that there wasn't a crosswalk there. And I think before that, there might not have been a big need. But since, if you ever go down that way, if you're on that side of the highway and you want to walk down, you got to walk all the way down to El Mirage to cross. Otherwise, you're going to absolutely be jaywalking, which is a problem on Casino Drive. Now, obviously, someone in a wheelchair or a scooter goes into the Family Dollar and wants to go across to the library, they also have to go all the way down and across and up. There should be a crosswalk there. There's no reason that that should not be a little bit higher. I don't say it has to be number one, but in addition, that traffic signal at Woodbury and Needles Highway, I'm surprised there hasn't been a fatality there before, just like I'm surprised there hasn't been a fatality at Las Palmas. So I hope, and if you can't squeeze into this budget, maybe this American Rescue Plan might helpful in that. So that's my input. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Henry,
By the way, you got a little problem down here with
okay.
the furniture.
Something that needs fixing. Okay. Just for input, so you're aware, as far as the crosswalk and the traffic signals, they are on the list. They're not a little bit higher because it's not something we can put fully our weight behind. It's something that Public Works, Clark County, the state of Nevada, all have procedures that are set up that must qualify, and it must meet the definition of the law to do that. So that's what the traffic studies are done. So I think once the traffic studies come in, and if it does indeed justify it, then we can push more momentum behind it. But if the traffic studies don't, it doesn't warrant in the definition of the law, then there's really not much this board can do. I've sat here for 20 years, and we've had it in the past where Las Palmas did not qualify, and that's when Bennett Elementary was still active, and we could not push. I think you ran Public Works as well after me and stuff, and I think it was the same situation. So unless we can get those traffic studies, we can't, no matter the amount of chutzpah we might have for it, we can't put anything behind it. So I just want to qualify that, which is why it is a priority. However, we can't get completely behind it and push until we get that traffic study in. So just so you're aware. Please.
One of the things when I was on the town advisory board and with Public Works, this issue came up, and what I'm getting from Clark County is that there's an implied crosswalk there, which means you can cross there, but you're responsible for your own safety. To have a marked crosswalk requires to meet all the rules that it's talking about, and that's why we could never get it.
I don't think Metro's ever done any sites for jaywalking
It
there.
has the flashing yellow.
Yeah, we did
line
get that flashing, and we
Right.
got that back
which
in
is
like
implied
2005.
that
Yeah.
people cross.
And I don't believe Metro we have had a fatality there before
Yeah.
as well. But I do believe that Metro has never cited anyone there, at least to
never
my
seen 'em go
knowledge,
after it.
for it. Like I said, the most danger is coming down the hill because of speed. Going up the hill, that's a sizable hill. So, like even my car, I can't go up that hill real fast, so. Any other comments? Nope, okay. Okay, item number 2 for general business is nominate a representative and an alternate to serve on the County Development Advisory Committee. This is known as the CDAC, and take any action deemed appropriate, and this is for action today.
Well, I nominate you, Kathy Oaks, to be the
For CDAC?
primary on this.
Okay, all right.
Need a second.
So I have a nomination of myself for CDAC.
A second.
And a second. Okay. All right. And I would accept to do that. Okay. So is there any discussion? Anyone? Okay. Okay. So I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0, and the motion carries. Okay, so I'll go ahead and accept the position for CDAC. And then it's also asking for an alternate, because we are, two of us would not be a quorum. Is there anyone that'd like to volunteer for an alternate? Pam? Okay, so I'll go ahead and since I'll get you this time. So I'll make a motion that we approve Pam as our alternate for the CDAC.
And I'll second that.
And I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Pam, it's you and me. Okay. We could actually go up to Vegas and make a girls' day. Okay. Sorry. These are just, you might as well use the time wisely.
Exactly.
So, okay. All right. So, and this is item number 8, which is comments by the general public. This is a period devoted to comments by the general public about matters relevant to this board's jurisdiction. No vote may be taken on a matter not listed on the posted agenda, so we won't be able to vote on it. But comments are limited to 3 minutes. Please step up to our speaker's podium. For the record, clearly state your name and address, and again, spell your name. We are recorded. A lot of people with masks, it's hard to hear, so it'll help Tammy immensely. And if any member of the board wishes to extend the length of a presentation, this will be done by the chair or the board by majority vote. Are there anyone that would like to comment today? Yes, Mr. Henry.
Yeah, Bruce Henry, 2004 Mesquite Lane, number 201. Just a couple things, and it has to do with the boating, river safety. I really love these. I don't know if we could get more of these, and I would really love.
Where did we get those, Tammy?
That captain.
It's really,
Yeah.
And second of all, actually, I got 3 little quick things all regards river safety. Next week, on September 21st at 3 p.m., I invite all the board members and Mark and anybody else here. We're having a river safety workshop. It's in conjunction with Parks and Recreation and Bullhead City Council, because it affects everyone here.
So it's at the Bullhead side?
Yes.
Parks and Rec, okay.
Yeah, Parks and Recs.
Not our park.
No. But everyone's invited, and I hope some people from the Nevada Wildlife will be there. I actually also put an invitation out to our assembly person, and hopefully you're there, and maybe we get the county commissioner, and that'll be at 3 p.m. in the Bullhead City Chamber, if you know where that is. And also in regards to that, one of the members who couldn't come here today asked me to, just a couple of suggestions, and I want to get it on the record, that, and I see in here there's a comparison of the laws in the state, and his suggestion is you got to be 18 to operate a watercraft, and also you have to pass a test, and also have a boating certificate. And maybe we could have those certificates put out by having a safety meeting here. And so those are just a suggestion. He was hoping to be here, but he asked me if I could make those in the public comments. I hope to see you next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Thank you.
Okay, I put it on my calendar. Well, we can't have too many of us either, so there can only be, but I can certainly attend that. Mr. Moskowitz, would that be something you would attend to
I'll
next
definitely
Tuesday?
have to check and see.
Yeah,
make sure. Yep,
but it's your day when you're down here, so.
Yeah.
Because,
let me-
I'll definitely be going, so. Okay. Anyone else with public comment? Okay. Seeing none. Our next meeting date is October 12th of 2021. And I'll go ahead and entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion second. All those in favor, aye. Motion carries. We are done. Good day and thank you. No, I doubt that. Thank you all for coming out.